Hello there. Welcome to part 2 of our journey through France with Scenic. If you managed to join me for part 1, I hope you adored Paris, the city of love, and our travels to the superstar city of one of the world's most magnificent wine regions, Bordeaux. Now, I would like to take you to some of its surrounding towns and villages where we've been invited to have sundowners in chateaux, to cycle through vineyards. We are going to eat and shop ourselves silly and just revel in all of the wonderful history and stories that each and every town here has, beginning right now, right here in Saint-Émilion. This charming medieval village is just a short drive from the city of Bordeaux, or for us lucky scenic passengers, a leisurely cruise on the luxurious Scenic Diamond. This is probably a really good spot to tell you that when you come here, make sure you wear flat shoes. The cobblestones are almost smooth as silk from the amount of tourists they get here, and I suppose the pilgrims as well. How many tourists do you get every year?
About between 1 million and 2 million a year.
Really? It doesn't take long to work out just why the tourists flock here. The beauty of the town and its vine-covered surrounds is absolutely intoxicating, and apparently not a bad spot to bring your better half.
Charming and very romantic.
Oh, really?
Very romantic.
How come it's so romantic?
Just is the way that French people are, the cute streets and the architecture is just charming.
As well as all the wine caves and cafes, you'll find a Macaron shop on most street corners here in Saint-Émilion. Now, the one sweetie treat I've been told that we have to have when we're here is the macarons, but I don't think this is quite the macaron that you may be used to. This is more like it's more like a flat, chewy biscuit. What goes into the macarons here?
This is sweet almonds, bitter almonds, egg whites, sugar, and a secret ingredient.
Really? I heard that secret ingredient, is that passed down through families or?
From daughter to daughter.
Daughter to daughter.
Since 1620. Can you imagine?
That is really good. Really, really good. Apparently these were the favourite of the Sun King, Louis XIV. Total sweet tooth he had, and I can totally understand why. That is delicious, delicious. But the true treasure of this town lies beneath the surface. I've heard the locals call this town Lair Gruyere. That's the cheese with the holes, you know the one? And the reason why they call it that is because underneath us right now, what you and I can't see is over 180 kilometres of catacombs, subterranean galleries, some 4 levels deep. Because the stone from this town was used to build all of Bordeaux. It's a very, very beautiful stone. So really, there's a whole life happening underneath us right now, and you just wait until I take you to the local church. From every single vantage point, the church is the heart of the town, and it remains Europe's largest monolithic church. The church and the town itself was created thanks to a miracle-working monk named Emilion, who lived here way back in the 8th century. I cannot believe that you can come into the actual cave where Emilion lived. This is where he came to and he prayed from here?
You have to imagine there was nothing. There was just a hole, a cave. And he wanted just to pray and meditate. And he heard water coming out of the ground. And then he thought, God gives me water. Why? It's a sign. So God gave him water to baptize people. And
the reason they had the underground churches, because you had to hide your religion.
You are right. You had to hide your religion. And here it's very special because we definitely know that he's seen the grave of Jesus because it's made exactly in the same way. Do you see these 3 people holding hand? They represent the souls going into heaven. So from here, from the top, they brought the bodies down into the catacombs.
The bodies have since been removed from the catacombs and buried in a cemetery nearby.
Because of this holy man who did those miracles, Saint-Émilion became a stop for pilgrims.
At an impressive 11 metres below the surface, the church was excavated from a single massive stone. And of course, where there are people and pilgrims, there is wine. Oh yeah. and Saint-Émilion is thought to be the oldest wine-producing appellation in the Bordeaux region. The lifestyle here in the southwest of France is an enviable one. This is Chateau Zurich. As part of our scenic journey, we are invited to experience it in all its glory. Scenic's beautiful Bordeaux region has delivered us to the famous wine region of Saint-Émilion.
Don't you think it's amazing that they can trace the first vines being planted in this area by the Romans to about 100 years after the birth of Christ, and that it was during the Middle Ages that wine production was at its peak? You have to keep in mind that they couldn't actually trust the water that they were drinking during that time, so they would have wine, albeit a lighter type of wine, for breakfast, lunch and dinner. And today, not much has changed. Of course, they still have here the amazing soil, the climate, the latitude. They do not irrigate and they are completely beholden to the weather gods.
Saint-Émilion and its vine-laden surrounds produce over 2 million cases of wine every single year.
And I suppose from where we're walking now, this really allows us to see the amount of wineries in this relatively small region.
Yes, Saint-Émilion is only 12,500 acres, which is, you would say, a lot, but 900 chateaux, 900 properties there.
900 different wineries within that one block. Why, from here, is it the world's best?
We do wines now since 2,000 years, you know, so...
We got it down pat.
Of the hundreds of wineries in the area, Franc-Maine is absolutely worth a visit. While it has 7 hectares of vines producing some of the area's much celebrated Grand Cru, it is also home to 2 hectares of underground quarries.
These quarries, former quarries, are dating back to the Middle Ages, the 12th century. The property has got 5 acres of quarry.
There is 5 acres underneath the ground.
Underground quarries.
100 years ago, this would be full of quarrymen.
Exactly. Working there, lighted only with small candles, with beef fat, and this is the reason why you see the roofing is dark.
Oh, I wondered about that. You can actually see the burn marks.
The owners of Franc-Maine wanted to develop this underground world to give visitors an insight into the area's history.
When it was no more used as a brewery.
Cleverly, it now doubles as the winery's cellar.
With the temperature and the humidity, the perfect place to store our barrels.
And no need to have air conditioning, you know?
And it just goes on and on and on.
Exactly.
And as part of our very special visit with Scenic, of course, we get to taste the fruits of the many centuries of labour.
So we are going to taste Chateau de Lussac, which belongs to the same owners. When you taste the wine, always try to be patient to look at the color. It will give you much information.
After the gorgeous wineries of Saint-Émilion, we are back to the luxury of our floating hotel. This is the Scenic Diamond. And while you can choose to rest and relax all our long, I have signed up for the new Culinary Course to learn a few tricks of French cuisine.
And today we will cooking coq au vin. So coq au vin, it's an old story about a romance, battle, something like that. It's red wine, okay, and just a chicken.
As well as brushing up on our skills to impress our loved ones at home, Jérôme, in his flamboyant French way, gives us an insight into local cuisine.
What do you want to cut? Onions or leek is already clean?
Je préfère les leek, because I don't want to cry.
Ah yes, oh sorry madam, I forgot, I will, oh yes, I completely forgot, I used to do that, so.
I do have to admit that my work in the kitchen, well, it's slightly less than impressive. But you know what? I think that with a dish like this in my repertoire, things are looking up.
There's lots of around the table. The great thing about the food here, everything is so fresh, produce is always different, so seasonal, and above all, his best compliment, yummy.
On this entire trip, you will be surrounded by food, glorious food. And after that delicious afternoon snack tonight, I have been invited to the ship's degustation restaurant for a very special dining experience. You know, it goes without saying that if you're taking part in this particular cruise, you love your food and wine, but taking part in Table La Rive, this takes things to a whole new level. This is the best of the best. This is a sort of dinner where I like to keep the menu and hopefully have the chef sign it. You want to treasure every moment. You don't need to do anything. Everything has been chosen for you. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy. After a couple of days exploring the right bank of the river and the region of Saint-Émilion, today we have pulled up at Paulac to journey through the left bank of the Gironde River known as the Medoc. Now, I don't always like to be independent, but I do like to have the option. And each day here, you can choose from all sorts of different things to do. You can go with a group, off to do all sorts of lovely things, or you can stay in bed and read a book all day if you would like. But I know that I'm going to be eating and drinking my way across France. And so today I am going to a lovely vineyard, a beautiful chateau, but I'm going to earn it. I'm going to work my way there. All right. On y va, off we go. And if you haven't ridden for a while, don't worry. These are e-bikes. They are a gentle reintroduction to the world of cycling with the electric function, meaning less pedal power and more time to take in the gorgeous countryside. I absolutely love being on a bike, going through these smaller roads. This is something that you just couldn't do if you were in one of the buses. This is why I'm so glad we took the bikes, because you get to say hello to everybody here. You can go as fast or as slow. You can stop for a photo if you like.
You can pick some grape.
We are taking the scenic route to an 18th century wine estate, one of the most famous properties in all of the Medoc. Now, there is some truly amazing wine properties in this region, but I tell you, Chateau La Grange is regarded as one of the most beautiful in all of Bordeaux. It's a big call, but it really is truly a breathtaking property. I would come here just for the garden, and just to look at that beautiful chateau. I thought it was interesting, this place is actually called La Grange. Isn't that the barn?
Yes, exactly. It was the name of the area here, and they choose to do it like a real castle. It's very traditional and very French too, to have these 3 steps: the lake, the garden, and the home.
Chateau La Grange has a long and colourful history, having passed through many changes of ownership. These days, it is actually owned by a Japanese company that has poured time, energy, love, and almost $30 million into revitalising the property and ensuring their wine has a global reputation. What is the difference with the wines from the Medoc?
Here in the left bank of the river, in the Medoc district, it is better for the Cabernet Sauvignon, Medoc, and Cabernet Franc.
With this particular winery, is this a big winery?
Yes, it is. It is one of them. We have more than 150 hectares of vines all around, and so you can find this wine all over the world because they used to have a lot of bottles to sell, and so it's easy to find Chateau La Grange.
You must be proud when you cycle in here. You must be so proud of what you see here.
Oh, yes, really, it looks like a fairy tale because they mix the wine and the beautiful house. Sometimes I have some dinners here.
Let's start with this small one. Well, easy. It's a half bottle.
As part of our visit with Scenic, we spend a couple of hours exploring the property with the barrel room and, of course, tasting the fruits of all the hard work.
In my opinion, drinking a wine alone is boring. When I drink a wine alone, it doesn't taste good. For me, a wine is social. You need to speak about the wine, to tell a story.
It enhances the experience to share it with others.
Always, the wine is that. Cheers.
If you have just joined us, we are cruising in style through the beautiful Bordeaux region on the luxurious Scenic Diamond. The leisurely cruising and sightseeing is the highlight. As well as a wonderful resident hairdresser, there's a massage, a beauty therapist on board, and a whole new area to relax that is open all day long and doesn't require a booking.
This is the salt therapy room. I've never actually done this before, but I have heard people rave about it, and I know it's huge across Europe. Basically, if you have a respiratory, skin, or allergy issue, maybe you'd like to sleep better or have more energy, it seems to do it all, and I am up for that.
Like all of Scenic's spaceships, the Diamond has several separate areas to relax and soak in the surrounds. But when the cabins are this luxurious, I don't know if I ever really want to leave.
If you really want to treat yourself, why not book the Royal Owner's Suite? You can see it has all the bells and whistles, but I love to read the little note from us, the list of all the things that your butler can do for you. Of course, you have things like valet service, arranging a cocktail party in here, and the butler will serve all of the beverages. But I like the option of, oh, here we go, drawing a bath. I would love to just once in my life ask someone to draw a bath for me. I never would, but I like to have the option.
Alrighty, after a few hours of leisure, I am recharged to keep exploring. And an excursion through the Sauterne is one I certainly do not want to miss.
This is the region that grows the Sauterne wine, where through some weird twist of fate, a particular kind of microclimate, even a certain fungus they call noble rot, it all helps to create this really delicious, yummy wine.
This magical sweet wine producing region is a relatively small corner of the world, just a short drive, or for us, a short cruise, from the city of Bordeaux. And one of its most prestigious wines comes from these vines, right here at Chateau Zurich.
Is it okay to drink a sweet wine or a Sauterne at any time? Do you have to have it with your dessert, after your meal? That's what I'd always thought. Do you have to do that?
No, you do whatever you want, whatever you like.
Great.
I drink it at any time.
At any time.
Given the small size of the area and the labour required to harvest the grapes by hand, the wines of the Sauterne are more expensive than most other blends that you'll find in the region. Chateau Zurich is a truly stunning 30-hectare property with 22 hectares under vine and the remaining land consisting of flawlessly landscaped parkland. Oh, and there's also a lovely garden with chooks and a turkey.
So your idea of a chateau is different to my idea of a chateau. I always thought a chateau was a castle.
Yes and no. Here in the Bordeaux wine area, we called every wine estate a chateau. Chateau. And even if there's just a small house and facilities to make wine and vineyards,
it's still a chateau.
It's a chateau.
Okay, it doesn't have to have the turrets.
No, but every wine estate, every chateau has his own story, his own history, and that's very interesting.